Hi, this is Margo. This is Friday afternoon, July 12th, 2019, 6:04 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. We're going to be looking at Tropical Storm / possible Hurricane Barry some more, and earthquakes again tonight. This is the latest from NOAA, from the GO satellite. I just refreshed. This is the East Processed Visual Satellite image, and we can see the cloud is tightening up. The storm is tightening up and forming now, and here it is from today on NASA Worldview. I'll refresh this to see if it changes. No, that's about the same, but we can see a lot of cloud cover, going over the south here, and but here the latest on GOES, it's tightening up and forming now. So here it was from yesterday, and here it was from the day before. So it's hanging around in the Gulf, picking up a lot of water. It's a very slow mover, and we can probably see some evidence of manipulation here if we look in closely. Here's some. Look at those little spokes there. I'm not saying what it is. I'm just saying it looks unusual. But before we go there, I've got a weird cloud to show you in the Arctic. And my voice is still very sore and hoarse today. I don't know why. I don't know if it's new toxins in the atmosphere that I'm breathing in, but I got some tea. I haven't made it yet to help with the throat, but it feels inflamed or irritated. Alright, this is from yesterday, July 11th, and this is NASA Worldview. Here's the Arctic. Here's Greenland. Here's this weird cloud. This is all ice-free up here now, as you can see. But this is the strangest cloud I've seen in a while. And when you zoom in, it looks like concave. It looks curved. You can see, and it looks like a lip is curved up. It looks almost like the shape of a tongue, with this being the tip and this being the back. And look how this side is flipped up, and when you zoom in, look at all these lines, and it looks like a cross section of layers, flat layers. Here, that's the edge of the cloud, and then we can see the this weird clouds. I mean, we see these all over the place. These are not normal either. But I just found this interesting, and we can see the other edge would be similar. It's got the similar shape on the end there, or on the side. So that's from NASA Worldview from yesterday, July 11th, in the Baffin Bay off the southwest coast of Greenland. It's not very big, but it caught my attention enough to zoom in and take a peek. So that's my weird cloud of the day. So going back to Tropical Storm Barry / hurricane. And there are a lot of people reporting on this, so you know they'd probably do a better job than I would, but I'll do my best. Okay, this is from Climate Reanalyzer. This is radar satellite, and we just looked at that. And let's see, that's all we've got there for radar. Here is the 10-day accumulated precipitation. I showed this the last 2 days. So this is an updated model. And let's go back to the beginning. So it goes forward from today through 10 days out through the 22nd. So if we run this, we can see it starting to move up into Louisiana and across up, just going straight up through Mississippi now. And it just sits there. It really, like, the main part of it, the main dumping, just kind of sits there. And then, of course, as the storm comes inland, it drops rain. The further north and east and west it spreads out. So, and here's the color code. The 5 is up to, this is inches. The right where it hits purple, that's 5 inches. This the dark red to the red is 8 inches. Here's 12 inches. The red to bright reddish orange. The light or the orangey color is 2 feet or 24 inches. Then the light orange up to yellow is 30 inches. And then darker yellow is 36, and then it goes up from there. And so we're seeing at the end of the forecast period, we're seeing maybe, we're definitely seeing orangey color right in here in Louisiana. So 24 to 30 inches. I mean, that's massive. And they already have flooding. But it looks like it's going to be hanging around. And so it's supposed to make landfall, I think, tonight. Not for sure. Here it is. The 13th at 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, where it's making landfall. Let's see precipitation and cloud cover. Let's look at that. Okay, so the green is rain, and here's the color things, and it goes up into this black color, which is 25 inches and higher. So we can see it's already, let's go back to the beginning. it's been raining there, and so that's the soil is already saturated. They've already had flooding, and they're just worried about the levees holding. So there it goes. So it looks like even after it goes up, it like rain reforms. So let's go 3.5 days. So this goes into next week with 3.5 days. So according to this model, it's kind of hanging around in Louisiana and goes straight up into Arkansas and then Missouri. And of course it spreads out as well, but that's where the most of it is. And the yellow is 35. I guess that's inches. Let's see. The other one was inches. Maybe it's I don't know, don't quote me on that. So anyway, people can go here and look. If we go to today's weather maps, here's precipitation and clouds, and here's what it looks like down here. You can see the whole Gulf it's raining in the whole Gulf and over parts of the South already as this is gathering force. It's moving very slow. It's also raining in the Arctic, by the way. Whenever you have rain on the sea ice, that will melt it, because that means it's above freezing for it to rain. Alright, now I have an article pulled up from Weather Nation for tracking Barry. This is so Tropical Storm Barry continues to impact the Gulf Coast states while it threatens landfall Saturday morning. The National Hurricane Center upgraded the storm Thursday morning to be named Barry, previously potential tropical cyclone 2, after tropical storm force winds were found near the center of circulation. As of Friday afternoon, the maximum winds increased to 65 miles an hour. Barry continues to move to west-northwest at 5 miles per hour. The minimum central pressure was 993 millibars, so that's getting down there. The lower it gets, the worse the storm is, the more destructive it is. So here, this is showing the same route as what we saw on Climate Reanalyzer. Areas along the Gulf Coast will need to follow this forecast very carefully, with multiple impacts expected. The main threats will be due to flooding, both from storm surge and heavy rainfall. The slow movement of the storm will lead to nearly a foot or more of rain for areas in Barry's path. It's going to be more. So the key messages are long duration, heavy rain and flood threat, dangerous storm surge for Louisiana, localized hurricane conditions for Louisiana. The impacts of this system will also extend inland, not just at the coast. The slow movement of this system will result in long duration, heavy rainfall anywhere from the central Gulf Coast and inland through the lower Mississippi Valley has the potential for flash flooding and river flooding. Localized rain totals may exceed 15 inches, even up to 25 inches in some spots. So the highest rain is right down here by New Orleans. And then all of this is flash flood warnings, tropical alerts, hurricane warnings for parts of the Louisiana coast, the red is the hurricane warning. So for this, most of the southern part of the Louisiana coast is hurricane warning now. Storm surge alerts are in place for many parts of the Gulf Coast. Storm surge is the potential for saltwater or seawater inundation as the storm presses toward the coast. This is different from freshwater flooding due to rain. Coastal flooding can occur extremely fast when storm surge pushes in. Low intensity does not equate to low impact. Make sure you have emergency supplies and a plan for your family and pets. Stay with Weather Nation. As we continue to follow this storm system over the next several days, we'll have live team coverage from the impacted areas right through the weekend. And here's their Facebook and Twitter pages too for updates. So they've evacuated a whole bunch of people already. So, don't be afraid to leave. If they tell you to leave, you need to get out of the eye of the storm, definitely. Then we looked at some Twitter, or I looked at some Twitter. Barry is a triple threat of storm surge, high rivers, and flooding as it gets closer to Louisiana. There's some flooding already. This is from Regina. Here's a picture. She says, please pray for New Orleans, plus all of Louisiana. The current rainfall and coming Hurricane Barry are projected to exceed the 20-foot levee. This can cause significant damage, just like Hurricane Katrina did in 2005. Please leave and get to safety while you can. It's going to get worse. Whoa, it scared me. So here's their movie. So that's a lot of rain already. Look at the cars are trying to drive through it. I don't know how they could. Here's from Steve Caparota, PhD. Breaking. First advisory issued on potential tropical cyclone 2. Forecast calls for it to become Hurricane Barry, making landfall on the Louisiana coast by Saturday. Remember, track still subject to and likely to change. That was on July the 10th. and so on. Here's another picture of the path. Here's another. This is the Gulf of Mexico. That says, this is from Brad Panovich. This is from July 10th. The Gulf of Mexico is a hot tub with some of the warmest water in the Atlantic and well above average for this time of year. This is hurricane fuel. Look at how hot it is down here. Oh, we can look at that on Climate Reanalyzer. Let's look at sea surface temperature anomaly. Well, it's not looking like, it's not looking red, it's looking brown down there. I mean, we've got red up in the Arctic and different places, but it must be warm because it's in the browns. Whatever it is, this guy's saying it's warm. Here's from Lele. Everybody, please, we all need to pray for my family in New Orleans and the state of Louisiana this weekend, with this storm coming sometime. I really feel my home team is cursed. Hurricane Katrina might not have nothing on Hurricane Barry. These are pictures from yesterday. Yeah. Here's from Reed Timmer 8 hours ago. New early storm surge south of Chauvin, Louisiana, ahead of Tropical Storm Barry. This area will be underwater later today and is under a mandatory evacuation. Up to 4 feet of storm surge possible in spots. NHC now forecasts a hurricane at landfall. Stay tuned to AccuWeather. Here's one from WDSU. Barry strengthening, winds are up to 65 miles an hour, and Barry is expected to make landfall as a hurricane. That was from 10 hours ago. Here's someone postponing a show because New Orleans will be flooded and be hit by Hurricane Barry. French Quarter will be shut down and crest of the Mississippi will be equal to all the levee can hold and vulnerable to a breach. Fans need to know today, Wednesday. That was July the 10th. Oh, that was for the Rolling Stones, for a Rolling Stones concert. Okay. Hurricane Barry. Here's someone. Look at that. Here's NWS Mobile 46 minutes ago. Barry update. Strengthening is forecast before landfall, and it is expected to be a hurricane when the center reaches the Louisiana coast on Saturday. Latest information, it's 85 miles south-southeast of Morgan City. Movement west-northwest at 4 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds 65 miles an hour. And their pressure, sea level pressure, is 993 millibars. Here's NOLA. This was July 10th. New projections show Mississippi River will rise to top of lowest New Orleans levees 20 feet as possible Hurricane Barry nears. If the river overtops the city's levees, it would be the first time in more than half a century. here's someone from yesterday. Hurricane Barry is heading to Louisiana. If y'all need help or get trapped by water, call 833-872-2586. That's America's Cajun Navy. They have people stationed and ready to rescue. Please pass this on. That was from October 5th. That was the name of this person. So this is just headlines from Twitter. Here's it's just more of the same. So this is the big news here in the United States. And oh, here's a picture. This is from Slate. Parts of New Orleans are flooded. Worse is on the way. This is 13 hours ago. A storm surge on Saturday is now projected to elevate the Mississippi River to 20 feet above sea level, the same height as the levees that protect them. So, there you have it. Here's the National Hurricane Center from 12 hours ago. This is what it looked like. But we saw the latest already. So, there's that. I think it's interesting to just go through the feed and see what people are saying. Now, let's go on over to earthquakes. So we're gonna, oh my God, look at this that just happened. 6.1 near Natsei, Japan at 5:57. 237 kilometers deep. It's still red on the map. Okay, let's look. It's in the ocean. So, more than likely, it didn't cause any damage. But, let's go over to volcano discovery. I'm already over here. Earthquakes. Let's see if this one is on the map yet. What was it? A 6.1? Yeah. It's not on volcano discovery yet. I guess it takes a little bit of time for it to propagate over. Let's see if it's on EMSC. There it is. 6.1. Brand new, right here, northwest of Ryukyu Islands, 35 minutes ago. 238 kilometers deep. That's pretty deep, so I didn't see a wave picture on USGS. So with it being that deep, it probably didn't cause any tsunami, and with it being in the ocean, that will buffer any vibrations or anything. So you saw it right here. That's the latest one in, and it came in at 5:57 Pacific time, and I call out all of these in Pacific time because that's my time zone. So that's huge. Oh, I also I wanted to share some tweets that Dutch Sense put out. First of all, he did some videos. He says this was last night. He says, do not download Earthquake 3D. We have found it to be compromised as of July 11th, 2019, where someone was able to remotely hack my copy of Earthquake 3D, make the bell ding as a magnitude 7.0 earthquake while live on stream, apparently even with having full antivirus and firewall on. So, and then he leaves another tweet. He says, my machine Earthquake 3D is vulnerable to outside manipulation. If you have a copy, I would recommend uninstalling it until this issue is fixed. I don't even know what the issue is, other than someone was able to populate a ding of a magnitude 7.0 earthquake as a hack to troll us. And then he says, while we are looking for a 7.0 magnitude earthquake to strike California, someone made a video taking credit for this hack and posted it to YouTube per reports from my moderator, MacPlayer9999. And here's a video from Dutch Sense, the hacked fake 7.0 called. And I actually listened to this earlier today. I woke up really early this morning and just put it on and listened to it. So, I mean, the show, it actually, the 7.0 thing came in on the show, and then he was saying, oh, I must have been hacked. So, also, he's saying he's not stopping using USGS, etc. There was another thing, he did the forecast where he predicted another large earthquake in Southern California to hit by midnight last night, and it didn't happen. And so now there's this whole big thing about, that forecast was wrong and it was a flop, and he's donating the money he received during the last few days to earthquake relief and this and that. So my comments on forecasting things, and then when they don't happen, and when you're absolutely positive from all of your own data, is that we know that the powers that be have the ability to create earthquakes. And if they have the ability to create earthquakes, then they have the ability to suppress earthquakes too, and to redirect the pressure, redirect the magma flow, all kinds of things. I learned a long time ago that whenever you say, when you come out and put yourself on the line and say, oh, by such and such date this is going to happen, no matter how sure you are, that there's no guarantee. And I admire Dutch Sense and his work, but You know, this is a message for Dutch that I don't think it was lack of skill or an oversight or anything on his part that he forecast the 7.5 to 7.6 earthquake to happen. But I think that the powers that be, like I said, they have the ability to create earthquakes, and they have the ability to suppress them for whatever reason. And it's obvious that Dutch Synth is coming under great attack, and we're all coming under attack. I mean, I'm coming under attack in my own way, and I can see, like for instance, well, just to give an aside here, YouTube has been removing views from my videos. I've seen two recent videos where they've been up to like 100. Then I refresh my dashboard and it goes down. When was it? It was my video from night before last, and yesterday morning it was about 104, and I refreshed it and it went down to 79. And a couple of days before that, it was on my Arctic sea ice update and earthquake report, and it had like 135 views, and then I refreshed the page and it went down to 100. So I have no idea how many views I'm actually getting or how many subscribers I actually have. I don't make any money off of my YouTube channel. I was never monetized, and so I can't make any money off of it. But that's kind of good, because then I don't, I'm not dependent on them, and I can be a little bit more independent by not being monetized. But it doesn't mean that they don't shadow ban me or harass and attack in other ways. So, and I don't do forecasts, and I think that's the big thing that they don't like is, showing people up, and also they don't like just warning people. And but somebody needs to, and I hats off to you, Dutch Synth. I've been following you for years, and I find your videos informative and entertaining, and just I learn something every single time. And I learned what a harp ring looks like from watching your videos years ago, watching your shows where you were showing harp rings. And I just think we need to pray for Dutch and for his family and for his YouTube channel and his internet presence, and pray for his protection and his wife's protection, and because he's coming under great attack, and he's doing a bang-up job, and we need him as long as we're still here. We need Dutch here and able to report. So we need to pray for his protection. And if people want to support my work, I have my Subscribe Star page that I've started, and there are instructions in the description below on how to go there, and you can join for $5 a month, and I put up private posts and public posts, and it's all right there. And I have private videos. I do a methane video whenever new methane data comes out. I do spiritual messages over there. We're studying now we're moving over to the prophetic books of the Bible, and we're studying Isaiah right now. So, and I've already read all of Revelation, Book of Revelation. That's up on my website, margoshealingcorner.com. I've read and uploaded over half of all the Psalms. Let's see, I've been through all the Proverbs, and now we're heading over the Proverbs. I read and put them at the end of my methane videos, different chapter each day, and now we're heading into reading the prophetic books of the Bible and seeing how the prophets of old, how it's so similar to what's happening now, and what we can learn, and what we can do in order to be protected and guided in these end times. So, that being said, here we are on USGS. We've got all magnitudes for the last 24 hours up here, and we're showing 1,837 earthquakes worldwide. And of those, 71 are 2.5 magnitude or higher. So, in the event area, this is the screen. I've been screenshotting this area. I've been screenshotting every day since this happened. It first started on July the 4th. And right now, we're seeing 1,520 earthquakes in this area right now. Now, here's my screenshot from this morning. There were 1,672 earthquakes here at 9:04 this morning, and 1,933 earthquakes worldwide. So that was up. The number of earthquakes at the event center was up by about 100 from the day before. And it was up all magnitudes, all around worldwide, it was up a little over 100. At 9:04 this morning. And so since then, it looks like, it just comes and goes in waves. Now it's going back down. Now they've got 1,520 here. And yesterday morning, it was 1,570 here. And they're showing 1,836 earthquakes worldwide now, and yesterday morning it was 1818 worldwide. So, it's just coming and going in waves, but we're still seeing a huge amount of movement here. So we'll look more in detail at this when we go to get around to that. We'll do that last. So we're going to start with 2.5 magnitude or higher. So the first one that's about to come off the map is this 2.5 in Larsen Bay, Alaska, that came in at 6:55 last night. So let's just start up here in Alaska. It looks like a lot of activity going on here, and these are 2.5 magnitude or higher, and we've got 9 here today. So we'll just start down here. Here's a 4.2 at Attu Station, 3.7 Semisopokenoi Island. Here's a 4.2 Chernabura Island. Here's a 2.5 Larsen Bay, 2.6 Kodiak, 2.5 Talkeetna, 2.8 Talkeetna, 2.5 Shishmaref, and a 2.6 Arctic Village. So let's look at Alaska with all magnitudes now. Showing 116 all magnitudes, and they average 50 to 100 a day, so that's kind of average. So we're seeing some smaller ones here in the Aleutian Islands, some microquakes at Adak. And remember, these are all volcanic islands, and the volcanoes are coming back to life now. So here's a whole bunch of little ones all on these islands coming up in these Aleutian Islands. Here's a cluster of small ones here at King Salmon. There's 10 right there, and these are ones and under. Here at the Cook Inlet, this is in the Redoubt and Old Iliamna area. These are volcanoes. That's a 2.3 at Mount Redoubt volcano. 1.6, and we've got a cluster here at Redoubt. 1.6, 1.5, and a 0.5, and so on. Here's a 2.1 at Coho. Here's Anchorage. Here's a 2.2 Big Lake. So we've got a few clustered around here in Anchorage. Here is a 1.6 ice quake at Valdez. And then coming on up, there's that 2.8 in Talkeetna. And we've got more. 2.2 Healy, 2.0, a lot of 2s. These larger dots are in the 2s range, 2.2. And then these smaller dots are in the 1s range. That's a 1.0, 0.4, and so forth. We've got some more over here. Here's a 2.1 at Nome, 1.7 Nome. Here's that 2.5 at Shishmaref. Here's Kobuk. They're showing 7 here today. Those are 1s, pretty much. And we can see it's just kind of spreading out. See this line of dots spreading out and then moving up here. Let's move on up into the northern part. We're showing 15 here at Koktovik and Coldfoot, and these are high 1s. Here's that 2.6 at Arctic Village, and that's the highest one. Here's a 2.3 at Koktovik, and the rest are in the 1s range. So we've got 15, a lot of them at the surface at 0 kilometer depth. It's very shallow. So there's Alaska. Now, let's come back over here. Let's start down here in the South Atlantic. Here's a 5.1 near Visecoy Island, South Georgia, and the South Sandwich Islands. This came in at 4:22 this morning. And then down here in South America, we've got 4.4 near Iquique, Chile, at 12:24 this morning. 4.4 at Calama, Chile, at 1:22 this morning. This one was 131 kilometers deep. 4.6 at Ovalle, Chile, at 2:25 this morning, and a 4.5 at 6:02 this afternoon at Ovalle, same place. right on this red line. Then in the South Pacific, just north of New Zealand, here's a 4.4 south of the Kermadec Islands. This came in at 8:24 last night, 161 kilometers deep. 5.0 south of Kermadec Islands. That one was at 12:30 this morning. 5.2 near L'Esperance Rock, New Zealand, at 9:12 last night. Then up here, a 4.9 near Hihifo, Tonga, at 4:35 this morning, 132 kilometers deep. That's pretty deep. Here's one on the land at Papua New Guinea at 4.4 near Lae, Papua New Guinea, at 4:15 this afternoon. Then over here in Indonesia, now this is Lombok, and so this is next to Lombok. It looks like it was in the ocean, just off the little island. 5.1 near Pisang Kiming, Indonesia, at 10:01 this morning. 58 kilometers deep. There's the little wave. So let's see if there's a wave over here. The only wave was the one from Washington. That was the only wave from today, and no tsunami danger from this earthquake. And there was a, we're going to be talking about that. There was a 4.6 up by Seattle, Washington, and some quite a few aftershocks. So this probably didn't do any damage. It was in the ocean. And 5.1, that was buffered by the water. Now coming on up here, 4.4 near Tobelo, Indonesia, at 8:49 last night. Here's a 5.8 near Cantolan, Philippines, at 1:42 this afternoon, and that's in the ocean just off the coast. So that's getting on up there. That's almost a 6. Coming on up, we just saw this new one, the 6.1 near Natsei, Japan. Now it's in between. Now it's in the ocean, and here's this little island of Natsei. And it's part of the Ryukyu Islands. And here's Okinawa, just to the south. So that came in while we were online here at 5:57 this afternoon, 237 kilometers deep. Then over here in let's see, just north of India, this is a 4.2 near Ashkasham, Afghanistan, at 12:08 this afternoon, 240 kilometers deep. And over here on EMSC, we can see other earthquakes too. Like here's one in Africa. Here's a, look at that, a 4.8 that happened today. This was in the Congo, in the middle of the Congo, 15 kilometers deep. That happened at 13:31 UTC time. So 6 o'clock this morning, my time. They've got a couple down here in Mexico. There's a 4.0 and I can't tell. 2 4.0s down there. And then if you want to look at European earthquakes, oh look, here's one on Iceland, a 3.2. Let's look at that. One kilometer deep. Very shallow. Let's look at this on Google Earth and see where that might be. I'm always interested in the Arctic earthquakes, and Iceland is right on the red line where two tectonic plates meet. I've got to take that semicolon out for this to work. It was on land. And right there. One kilometer deep. So it was. Is that a volcano? It looks like that might be the crater of a volcano. It doesn't say. There's Friedland something foreign. I can't pronounce it. But it looks like that might be an old volcano. But anyway, that's where the earthquake was on Iceland. That was at 17:16 UTC. So 12 noon Pacific time. So that was a 3.2. And then there are quite a few down here in the Mediterranean. Stromboli is still going off a little bit. Here's some over in Europe. So we're definitely seeing activity here. And I haven't learned enough to really manipulate EMSC. I've kind of stuck with USGS. It's just, it's just easier. I know it's not all complete and everything, but I'm not the only one reporting on earthquakes either. So anyway, let's go to all magnitudes now. That was all of the international quakes. Here's Hawaii for today. We've got 12 here. 1.7, 2.0, 1.8, 1.3, 1.9, 1.8, 3.1. That's in the ocean there. 2.1 in the ocean. 2.2, 2.0, 2.2, and 1.8. So we can see where they're clustering here on Pahala. There's a couple here in the crater of Kilauea, a couple over here, and so on. Then the 3.1 out in the ocean. Honoka'a, but it's in the ocean. That's the reporting station. Now let's go to the Caribbean. We're showing 6 here today, 3.5, 2.8, 1.9, 2.4, 3.1, and 1.9. So those are getting up there. 3.5, that's getting up there, and a 3.1, and then the 2s. So, but those are in the ocean, so no damage. It's just showing activity. Now let's go into the lower 48. And we're showing 1670 here today. So let's figure out 1670 minus 1498. We've got 172 that are not in this area today. So we've got 172 earthquakes we have to look at now. We're going to start here in Oklahoma. We've got 7 here today. 1.4 Wycomas, 1.6 Helena, 2.1 and another 2.1 at 1.8 and a 2.0, all of those at El Reno, and a 2.0 at Tologa. So the highest one was, there were 2 2.1s. So still showing movement in Oklahoma. Now over in Utah, we've got, it's picking up. Here's a quarry blast, a 1.0 quarry blast near Milford. And we've got 7 earthquakes, so minus the quarry blast, that gives us 6 earthquakes here. We've got a swarm or a cluster going on here at Enoch. We've got 4 here. These are, the highest is this 1.5. Then here's a 1.6 at Monroe. Yeah. Here's a 0.9 at Salina. Coming on up into the Yellowstone area. We've got 6 here today. 0.6 at Dillon, minus 0.4 at Pablo, 1.6 Lincoln, 0.7 Lima, 1.3 Lincoln, and a 1.9 magnitude quarry blast at Butte at 12:02 this afternoon. They've got it on a timer. We could set our clocks by that quarry blast every day, just about. Alright. There's a huge event going on up in Washington State, right up here in the Seattle area. This went off this morning. And first we're going to look at the tremor map. And the tremors from yesterday, they're showing 11 tremors from yesterday. So none up here in the Seattle area, but from the day before, was it the day before? No, it was a couple of days before. We were seeing lots of tremors up there. Let's see. Where was that? There. Look at this on the 8th. This was from July the 8th. See? They're all concentrated right up here. And the earthquake happened. The earthquakes happened right up here. So, and we saw some more, I think. Well, I've been seeing a whole bunch up there on certain days. See, here's some more up there. But look at this big giant cluster down here. So anyway, we're seeing from the 11th, we're seeing 11 epicenters, or 11 tremors, and these harmonic tremors are what happen before they become the size of an earthquake. So it shows movement. This is to the west of Roseburg, Oregon, to the northwest. Alright, so let's come back over here. So in Washington and Oregon today we're showing 22. So we're going to start with the others first. Here's a 1.2 explosion near West Pasco at 2:20 this afternoon. Here's a 1.0 earthquake at Yakult, Washington at 4:17 this morning. Here's a 2.5 near Royal City at 3:46 this morning. And then down here, there are two at Orting, a 0.9 and a 1.5. So that's just to the here's Seattle. So this is just, these two just happened to the south of Seattle. Let's see, the smaller one happened at 10:49 last night, and the 1.5 happened at 10:40 this morning. Now, here's the cluster. This is to the northeast of Seattle. The reporting station is Cathcart or Monroe. Alright, so it started with this 4.6 at Three Lakes. This came in at 2:51 this morning, 28 kilometers deep. The next one was a 3.5 near Monroe at 2:53 this morning at 31 kilometers deep. So 2 minutes. These were 2 minutes apart. And then a 1.7 at 2:56. A 0.9 at 2:59. 1.6 at 3:28. 1.5 at 3:50. 1.2 at 4:24. 1.4 at 4:45. 1.0 at 5:42, 1.1 at 6 o'clock this morning, 1.6 at 7:12 a.m., 1.1 8:06 a.m., 1.8 12:04 p.m., 1.2 12:20 p.m., 1.4 1:24 p.m. and the last one that's come in so far is a 2.0 at 2:31 p.m. So let's look this up on Google Earth and see what this looks like. Gotta take that away. There it is. It's in the middle of a field of some kind. Looks like they've been working there. I don't know if this is a part of a mining operation or what, but it's definitely showing that they're working there. Here's a whole bunch of junk. I don't know if that looks like that might have been from a fire of some kind. I don't know what this is. There's something black there. So anyway, this is the area. What's up here? Look at this. Oh, this definitely looks like mining, and this is mine tailings is what it looks like. So, you know, they could have been fracking into it for the mining. Yeah, this is a big mining area. That's what it looks like. Yeah, right next to it. You're having all those earthquakes. Well, that's not a good thing. What is this? Look down here. Well, this looks like a crop circle. It's so weird. Anyway. Let me pause this. I'm going to check on Google Maps and see if I can see what's there. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I looked on Google Maps. I couldn't find the names of any of these things here. But this stuff looks weird. Whatever it is. These big black pits. I don't know what it is, what kind of mining operation it is, or what they're doing, but I have no clue. So, but it's definitely some kind of mining operation, it looks like. So that's where these earthquakes are coming in. So there's that. Uh-oh. Lost my earthquakes. Alright. So, got all of those going on. 16 there. Now, let's come on down into California. Well, let's go to Nevada next. We've got 2 up here at Battle Mountain. A 1.0 at Carlin. And a 2.3 near Battle Mountain. And we had some here yesterday too. So that's still showing movement up there in northern Nevada. Then over here on the east side we've got 2 at Peosha, 1.4 and a 1.2. And in southern Nevada we're just seeing a couple of small ones there at Pahrump. Here's a 1.4 at Goldfield. Here's some at Hawthorne. We've got 4 small ones at Hawthorne, it looks like. Anything in the middle? I don't think so. And then coming on up, here's a 1.1 Smith Valley, 0.1 Smith Valley, and then in the Reno area, we've got 8 here today. And here's this minus 0.4. This is in the Mount Rose area, Mount Rose hiking area. Here's a 0.1 at Truckee, and then here's a cluster of 6 at Truckee, and these are small. This 1.0 it looks like is the highest. The rest are small, like a 0. So we got small movement here in the mountains near Truckee. Pyramid Lake is clear. Now up here in northern Nevada, here's one. Here's Lake Almanor, and here's Larsen, that's a volcano, a 0.5 at Mineral in Larsen Park. Then, okay, that's all right there in Northern California. Now at the geysers today we're showing 29. That's kind of an average number that we see here. Here's a 2.2, 2.1, and the rest are 1s and under. Coming on down, we're not seeing anything. We've got a couple here at the pinnacles, a 1.4 and a 1.8. Here's a 1.7 at Maricopa. Now let's go back up and catch Mammoth. Now look at what's going on at Mammoth. There's definitely an uptick, and this Mammoth Lake and Long Valley caldera, this is a big super volcano right here. And we're showing 26 earthquakes here today, so that's an uptick. That is definitely an uptick. And there's some ones. Let's see what the highest. Here's a 2.3. I think that's the highest one. This 1.5 is the last one that came in at 2:57 p.m. Here's a 1.1. So that's an uptick. We've got 26 there today. Then here's the event area. We're going to come back to that. And here's a quarry blast, a 1.2 near Chula Vista quarry blast. So in Southern California, besides the event area, we've got 41 here today. So that's kind of an average number for down here. And they're small, they're all under 2.5 magnitude. Here's a 2.0, that's one of the larger ones. So we're seeing they're just peppered around. We've got a few clusters here and there. Here's some, some stacking here at Kauai in different places. Here's a cluster here at Yucca Valley, and so on. Here we are coming on over to Glen Avon. We're showing 10 here today. Now these are pretty small. 1.4 is the 1.5 looks like is the highest right there. And we're clear in West Los Angeles. Here's a 0.3 near Pear Blossom. Now what we're seeing alright, so we got those. Here's 1.2 Victorville, 1.1 Amboy. Now in this event area, we're seeing this line. This is where it's splitting open, and it's also there's this crack going. There's a crack going sideways too. I heard there's two, one going this way, one going this way. So I don't know. I'm not there. I mean, I'm glad I'm not there, but anyway, we're seeing it fill in all around. Now this is Searles Valley, Ridgecrest, and then up here is the Coso Junction, Olancha area. And so we're seeing more spreading out over to the east, to the Trona area. And here's a 1.3 at Trona. Now here's a stray one at Kernville, a 2.0. Now over here, Johannesburg, we're still seeing them come in, and California City. Now here's a 1.0 quarry blast at Tehachapi. I would kind of worry about that. I would not want to stimulate this activity at all. So in this area, we've got 37 that are 2.5 magnitude or higher, and we've had some higher ones here today. I saw a 4 on here. Maybe it's, here it is. 4.9 at Ridgecrest came in this morning at 6:11 a.m. 9 kilometers deep. And the rest, these are, that was the highest one, and the rest are like low 3s and mid to high 2 range. Here's the 3.9 at Searles Valley. So when we come back over, when you zoom in, that's what it looks like zoomed in, with 1490 there right now. And this morning there was 1672. So they're still coming in fast, just not as fast. Still a huge amount of earthquakes. And this is the 8th day, going into the 9th day since the first things started happening, the 6.4, and then the next day was the 7.1. So let's zoom out and see if anything else has happened that we need to look at, and then we'll wrap this up. I didn't intend for this to be such a long report, but sometimes you just have a lot to report on. When you got 2,000 earthquakes to look at, it kind of takes some time. No, I think we got them all. We got that big 6.1. Let's see. Let's see if that one is on the map yet. Oh, it's right here. they listed it as a 5.8. Let's see, 0057. Yep, that's it. Where was I? Here I am. Well, let's see if there are any reports. They're listing it as a 5.8, and down here at 5.9. On Saturday, July 13th at 0:57 UTC time, or an hour and 36 minutes ago. 233 kilometers deep. This is part of Japan. The nearest volcano is Yokoate-jima at 105 kilometers away, and it's equivalent to 0.5 atomic bombs. Here's an I felt it. Here's one 427 kilometers from the epicenter. They felt weak shaking. The apartment shaking woke me up. Here's someone from Russia, St. Petersburg. They said not felt. And then they wrote all this stuff in Russian. Why do they do that? Say not felt, and then they write a long explanation. I don't understand. Okinawa said very weak shaking. So that's the report so far on that. So I'm going to sign off for now and remind people that I believe we are in the end times, and one of the main reasons I'm tracking these earthquakes is so we can keep a finger on the pulse of Mother Earth, because Jesus said in the Bible, his disciples asked, Master, how will we know when it's time for your return? When will you be coming back? And one of the signs is that there would be earthquakes in diverse places. And that's the main reason I added earthquakes to my reporting. Plus, it goes right in with all the other climate change stuff, abrupt climate change, because as the atmosphere changes and the earth changes, we will have upheaval, and we will have plates collapsing, which is, we're seeing stuff happen like that here. And we will be seeing land masses rising, others sinking, and this is the time we're living in. We're living in a very, very unstable time now, and as the sea ice melts, that takes pressure, weight off of that tectonic plate, and everything springs up or goes down. It's called isostatic rebound, and it causes movement of the plates, and that can cause earthquakes. It's listed isostatic rebound. If people doubt it, go look it up. So earthquakes are definitely related to abrupt climate change, along with volcanoes as well, and earth changes. So, that being said, I'm praying for everybody, and we'll be tracking everything that's going on as long as we can. So until next time, God bless you. We just got a new earthquake of 4.5 at Jarm, Afghanistan. This just came in at 7:16 this evening, 181 kilometers deep, right on top, right next to the other one. We reported on this one that came in at 12:08 today. Well, here's another one, 4.5 at 7:16. So there you go. So God bless you. and I'll be talking to you real soon. Go in peace and good night.